So thanks to topsport.com.au, we're having a look at the last day of the Sydney Carnival from Saturday at Randwick, and I'm joined by Mark Rhoden. How are you, Mark?
Very well indeed, Mark. Thanks.
So Carnival done and dusted. Just quickly, overall, reasonably successful for you?
I won over the 3 weeks at Randwick. Continued on the good run we'd sort of started in late February, I think. So certainly did no harm, and actually made a bit more profit over the Randwick Carnival, which was good. Pretty good racing too overall, and considering, you know, at one stage we were looking down the barrel of perhaps losing the Carnival, that it's just great to still be here and really just to have it still ticking over the way it is.
Yeah, definitely. Just on Saturday in particular, we started on the soft 5 and we got up to a good 4 later in the day. How'd you find the track overall?
Yeah, it improved a little bit more than I thought it would. In terms of how it played, it was a little bit on pace, and inside was no problem, especially in the longer races. We saw Kinane and Lifeless Ordinary come up the rails and win well. I do think a lot of it was tempo related though. A lot of the races were quite slowly run, and when there was a bit more speed on, it was easy to make ground. With the rail in the 7 metre position, I don't think you ever wanted to be circumnavigating from last, and that certainly wasn't a plus. But you know, considering where the rail was, I thought it played okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask on the rail. So out 7 metres, big impact at Randwick generally. Yeah,
well, just once you're getting out beyond 6, you know, 7, 8, 9 positions, just because of the shape the track becomes with the rail out that far, it does naturally favour on paces without it being a bias issue in regards to the ground. And I thought it was fine. You know, it wasn't playing too many tricks. If you got your maps right, you were probably okay.
Good stuff. We'll have a look at the card, starting with race 1, which was the Highway Fender SP at $12 from the favourite Toro and Hellenism. How'd you see the Highway?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good Highway actually. I thought this before the race. I ended up staying out. It was a bit too competitive, and perhaps the one I might have considered backing was Luna Mia, who I thought was the best horse in the race, but she drew terribly, and she wasn't really suited. Fender undefeated. Yeah, he was 2 from 2. We'd won 2 up at Muswellbrook. Nash put him. Jay Covet on this one. Nash won race 2. Jay Covet put it right up on the speed. There wasn't a hell of a lot of pace on, and he dominated the race really. Toro, another good effort from the front. He actually won for us at Gosford at his previous start. He's racing really well. Hellenism got ability. It's won a Highway before, and I'm sure it can win in this class again. Its racing style's just a bit iffy, so pattern on the day probably a bit of a key to it. Jailbreak okay, pretty one-paced performance, but not a bad effort in a strong Highway. And Luna Mia, barrier probably beat it, as I said. But I think there'll probably be Highway winners come out of this. It was a pretty strong race. So probably a form reference for other Highways in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say, so as 2 from here, as you said, Fender pretty impressive. Further Highways for now?
Yeah, look, I mean, in all honesty, it's pretty rare for a horse to progress from Highway Company to winning better city races, even midweek races. The Highways really are only a form reference for other Highways. I mean, you do get the odd one progress, but they're few and far between. So the Highway form really is country form, so country races or other Highways.
No worries. All right, on to race 2, which was over the 1,200 metres. A couple of small plays for you. You backed Outrageous and Trumbull. Outrageous ran 3rd behind Snitz at $12, and Gen Rules, which ran 2nd.
Yeah, I was probably a bit optimistic here. I thought they were well placed in the race, but they both did draw badly, and I penalised them for that, but they weren't able to overcome it. Trumbull in particular had a very torrid run and weakened, and he rode Outrageous a bit more conservatively.
It was on Tommy Berry?
Tommy Berry, yeah. I think to win the race, they probably had to just put him up there and sort of hope they got in. And dragging him back, sort of get him out of his winning chance, but he ran on quite well. And the other thing was, there looked to be a bit more speed on paper than there was here. Schnitz, who I didn't think would be up where he was, had a very good run on the pace and really was never going to get beaten after straightening it. It won really well. Had some pretty decent Queensland form and had won a trial down in Sydney. I just didn't foresee it getting that good a run. Of the others, Generals, who drew badly, ran quite well. Groundswell was well backed off a trial win. I really don't think he's trained on this prep though. He was just okay on Saturday. Trumbull, I mentioned, we'd probably give one more chance to. Had a little bit of racing now. And Miss Invincible, who was one of the opening favourites and eased, she's. I much prefer her in fillies and mares class than against the males, but she was beaten a long way on Saturday, so that there might be an issue there. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, last 9 lengths.
Yeah.
All right, race 3 was the JHB Car Stakes, the Group 3 over 1400. Rubisaki with another win from Subpoenaed and St. Covet's Spirit. Unlike in Melbourne on Saturday, the odds on Pop got the job done.
Yeah, that's right. There was some rough results in Melbourne, weren't there? She's just had a super prep, Rubisaki. That's 6 wins in a row, I think.
Yep.
It is, yes. 6 in a row. Phenomenal consistency this time in. She's won at Group 3 level a couple of times now. Whether she's better than that, I don't know. She'd if she was going to be a Group 1 sprinting mare as a 4-year-old, she'd have to go to another level next prep, which I wouldn't rule out. She's obviously got a tremendous competitive desire, which is a great start. But yeah, she is really dominating her own age, own sex at this point. So they've done a tremendous job to get what they have out of her this time in, including the big $1 million race.
So she won one of the English races?
The English Sprint, yeah, the 3-year-old version of that, worth $1 million. So they've had a tremendous preparation. Paddy Payne's done a super job with her. And yeah, it remains to be seen if she can progress to Group 1 or 2 level, open class, but we'll see. Subpoenaed had a bit of a messy prep, tried Nirvana at 2000. Straight back to 1400, ran really well. I'd like to run on the third horse in Covered Spirit. I've had a little bit of time for it through its career, and that was probably the best run of its career on Saturday. The rest, they're just horses really. Akari's honest, sort of. She does what she does. Rocket Clock was an interesting one. Yeah, Rocket Clock was really well back to beat Rubisaki, and when I saw the fields, I wanted to find it, but her last trial, she was pushed out and couldn't get past a sort of provincial class horse, and that turned me off her. And she was beaten a long way on Saturday too. Did she ever? Oh, she was used up a bit early. But she, had a bit of a wide trip, but beaten too far to say that that was the excuse. I don't know where she goes now, but we'll see.
So some Covet Spirit, maybe one to keep a bit of an eye on.
Yeah, she's been sort of a midweek class horse up till now, but perhaps coming into the beginning of the off season, there might be Saturday races for her. She's good enough to win one on what we saw on Saturday.
No worries. So race 4 was the Group 3 Frank Packer Plate over the 2000 for the 3-year-olds. Kinane for Waller and McDonald, the winner from Bottega and Entente. Chuckaluck 4th. You stayed out of this race, I think.
I did.
Thoughts on the
think it
result?
really muddied the waters. He won for us in the Derby. God bless him. But this was just a totally different setup here. And he went up something like $2 in the first markets, which was very, very short. And a lot of people wanted to bet around him. And he ended up, the SP 440 and was longer on the exchange. It was just a race to get him out because he really didn't look as well suited in this race. I couldn't actually just get a handle on it. Kinane in particular was the one who was just staying tight on the upward spiral. very hard to quantify exactly how much improvement he had in him, and the answer was quite a bit. I'm glad I stayed out. I'm glad I didn't bet against him because he looks like a genuine group class stayer to me. Not sure how far he can go, in terms of cups or anything like that. But the rapid improvement he's shown in just 4 starts has been very good, and being by a reliable man, you'd think he'd stay all day. So they'll have options in the spring. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think they can get him to Queensland, even if they do run decent races up there over the winter. I think you already have to be in Queensland to race up there now. So there are options now.
I don't think it's finalised, but it's looking pretty tough, I think. So
they might have to wait for the spring, but they've got a horse. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, race 5 was the first of the Group 1s, the Champagne over the 1600 for the 2-year-olds. King's Legacy for the Snowdens and Bowman. Pretty impressive win from Glenn Fiddick and Ole Kirk. Any thoughts on the babies?
Yeah, pretty low Group 1. There shouldn't be a Group 1. It's been an ordinary race for a few years now. The Champagne, it's lost the lustre it had 10, 15, 20 years ago when, the absolute best 2-year-olds used to hang around and try and win the Triple Crown. That's just not something on their agendas these days. Winning 1600-metre 2-year-old races does nothing for their stud value. Whatever prestige it had seems to have gone. King's Legacy's honest. He's won two Group 1s, 2 really substandard Group 1s, but that'll do his value no harm. He's a level at least off the likes of Farnham. So they've fallen on their feet there in regards to his stud value. Glenn Fiddick's run super from the on pace, having about his 10th start or something. Just had an enormous amount of racing for 2-year-old, and I think that's him running second. I think shows you the quality or lack thereof of the race. Ole Kirk probably unsuited again, ran on okay. He's probably got another level in him next prep. But just as on what we've seen so far this autumn, these were pretty average BC grade 2-year-olds, and not really worthy of Group 1 status.
No worries. On to race 6, which was the Group 3 JRA plate over the 2000. Good result for you. Life Less Ordinary getting the win at estimated $8.50 from Graceful Glamour and Shared Ambition. So you back Life Less Ordinary and also Norway. Small bet on Norway.
Yeah, Norway. Yeah, that was speculative. It was quickly beaten, unfortunately. But Life Less Ordinary, great ride. Jay Covet. The barrier 1 was the factor that pushed me into him on Saturday. He was totally unsuited when favourite in the Neville Selwood last start, and he just looked like getting a really soft run from barrier 1, and that's why it panned out. And he needed everything to go right. I mean, nailed Graceful Glamour right on the line. Yeah. The track rider, she's a real dry tracker, Graceful Glamour. There's no surprise to see the money come for her. When she gets her own way in front and a dry track, she's always hard to beat, and she ran really well. Shared Ambition, of course, is going to be the talking point out of the race again. Just given no hope from barrier 11, they had to make a decision on another. They decided just to go conservative. Basically gave the horse no one chance by riding it like that. I'm not saying it was deliberately the way the race panned out with such a slow pace. He was going to find it very hard to win from back there. He's always had a rap on him. He's always going to be well found in the market. A lot of people think he can win a big race, and they might be right, but I think going forward he's not going to be the sort of horse I'm going to find because the market's going to be too strong on him. But he's got some ability, there's no doubt about that, but whether he's overrated and needs a few things to go right for him to actually win these races, that's the thing I'm unsure about. But certainly can't deny the merit of his run on Saturday. It was a great effort against the odds, but I don't know if he's going to be a betting proposition going forward.
No, well, betting around him on Saturday worked, so maybe one day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's that kind of horse. Horses who are, I don't know that he is one-dimensional, but horses that are one-dimensional, get back, run-on types are always worth betting against, in my opinion.
No worries. So race 7 was the feature, the Group 1 all-aged over the 1400. Tefane, the winner, just nailed just nailed Parada on the line and Fasika in third. So Tofane is peed at $12. Pretty good result if anyone was on her. How did you find it?
I stayed out. I was pretty similar to the market, the early market anyway. She's been had a fantastic preparation, this mare Tofane, and if this is a level of performance you can maintain next preparation, they've got a mare that's going to be competitive in any race they put her in. And taking her out to 1400 and beating a star-studded Group 1 field at her first attempt at the trip. Maybe they could even try over a mile now. I don't know, but they've certainly got a serious horse for the spring.
Seems to just meet the challenge every time she's sent out.
That's exactly right. They've just kept throwing her in. She's started off in provincial maidens and so forth, then into town benchmark races, group races against the mares. Now been tried. This is its 5th consecutive run at Open Group 1 level, and it went from being barely competitive to competitive to winning them. She's just had a tremendous preparation, just kept improving. Fantastic effort from the stable, and they've got a good horse here. Very unlucky, not unlucky, but they were very unfortunate to run into a Pirata in his last race start. A superb ride from Tommy Berry from the gate, get it into 1-1. That was just 10 out of 10 stuff. And to be done, short half headage, they've been very unfortunate to run into her there. Fasika, another good, honest run up on the pace. I don't know if she's absolute top Group 1 level, but she's pretty good. Bivouac, what he said, probably been up too long. Market very strong on him because of the map on Saturday.
Yeah, the money really came for Bivouac.
Yeah, he was the one they really settled on because he looked like he was going to get the right run. But I think he might have just been up too long. So that'll be him certainly for the prep, and knowing how they treat these colts these days, maybe forever. We'll see. Not a whole lot to say about the others, really. No, but serious horse Tofane now. She'll, she earned her spot in Group 1 company, and she'll be in these races for the rest of her career now, I'd say.
We were saying on Friday, perhaps just the ravages of age have maybe just brought St Anna Lane back a level. Did Saturday, do you think, confirm that? Yep.
I think so. I don't think he'll be hitting those heights such as he hit in winning a TJ last year. That's probably behind him. Also had the Hong Kong trip. I think we mentioned that too.
Yeah.
Kind of knocked him around. One thing I'd say in his defence is you'd rather him drawn somewhere other than barrier 1. He keeps drawing 1 and 2 in big races, which isn't what he wants. But along with that, I think he probably is past his best.
Yeah, sure. Okay, race 8 was the Group 3 Hallmark over 1200. Grey Worm winning at $5 from Trekking and Kementari. You backed the favourite, or deprived started favourite at $4.40.
Yeah, I just got too attached to him, I think. The time I saw the fields come out, I wanted to be on him because he loves Randwick and the Randwick 1200 in particular. And I thought he might be able to get a slot midfield and unleash his sprint, but they rode him very conservatively. I fell off my chair when I saw him behind Trekking. He was out of business very early in the race. Didn't do a hell of a lot in Australia either, but he was totally unsuited. I think I also mentioned on Friday I was looking to save on Grey Worm because he was around $9 at the time and better. But as it became clearer that he was the one that was going to be really well suited on the map and the way the track was playing, the price just shortened, and I just couldn't get on him. I should have probably approached the race differently and given more credence to the map, and would have at least had something on Grey Worm at the good early price. But as I said, I just got a bit too in love with Deprive back to Randwick, and got that one wrong. But Grey Worm's gone really well, but he certainly had all all favours. So with his racing style, if he does get those conditions, he's going to be hard to beat in anything. Trekking and Kementari, the other Godolphins, were both good. Trekking had a bit of a wide trip. Not too much more to say about the others, I'd say.
No worries. And the last of the day was I think the benchmark 100 over the 1400. Old
That's
mate
right.
Ranier got the chocolates at
Yeah.
$26 from Face-Dos, who actually started at equal favourite at 460 and Dealmaker. Desert Lord, I think you were on.
Yeah, and the race actually panned out like I thought it would. He got a really good run up on the speed. He failed. He ran about a level below his best. He just didn't perform well enough to win. But he got the run I thought he'd run, and I thought his fitness edge on a few of these he might be hard to beat, but he was just a bit disappointing. Great ride on the winner, Ranier. Sort of dragged him back from the gate and came through and got up in a blanket finish. They've gone okay here. I wasn't wrapped in Face-Dos's trials, but he's run really well. Military Zone's actually gone well. I thought he was very well backed, and I thought he mapped poorly, and he did have a wide trip, but also that he's generally better second or third up. But I think to finish that close after the trip he had, he's obviously come back very well, and there's not that the market will miss him, but there's certainly a race for him next start or the start after. It was a bit of a messy finish. Dealmaker's come up the inside and been narrowly beaten again. He's becoming, he'd already become costly. He does find it hard to win with his racing style. Lanciato back to something like his best too. Looked the winner at maybe the 100 metre mark. I thought he might have been gone, but that was an encouraging sign. But to be honest, there was not a huge amount of real estate covering the first 8 or 10 of them, so that can make a bit of a trap. But there were a couple of good runs in there.
Yeah, okay. So just for yourself over the day, found Life Less Ordinary, which at decent odds means does the job for us for the day.
Yeah, I think it's likely it was about square at Randwick, but found a winner at Kembla, which made it a nice day.
Yes.
And it had another narrow second at Kembla as well at $6, which would have made it a very good day, but no luck there. But no, between the two venues, a solid winning day and a solid winning week.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, so how's this week looking for you?
A bit quieter this week. We had a very hectic schedule last week, with Easter being one of the reasons for that. This week we're just back to a normal sort of Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday lineup. Canterbury, return to Canterbury on Wednesday.
Yep.
I'll have to give some serious thought to what the track pattern might be like there, the same as every Canterbury meeting. We'll look into how it played on the return meeting last year for a start. But it doesn't look, I've had a quick look at the acceptances. It looks a reasonable midweek card on paper.
Okay.
Then we've got Newcastle Thursday, and Saturday, which is Anzac Day, is actually the big Hawkesbury meeting, but it's going to be run at Rose Hill this year, so the Metro jockeys can ride. But there'll be some good racing there anyway.
Good stuff. All right. Well, yeah, we'll have a chat a bit later in the week, and as you said, it's the Hawkesbury feature day, if you like, but it is at Rose Hill, so we'll have a look at that on Friday.
Excellent. All right, I'll talk to you then.
Cheers.